Nick Jackson, probably one of my top five favorite people in the Denver music circuit who I got to know personally. And just Nick, we talked about the DAV at a different group. You know the DAV well.
Yeah.
What, you know, what would you describe the DAV to someone who was a complete outsider? Because that just wasn't a rehearsal. That was a community, wouldn't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely a community of a great scene and a great time, you know. So many things beyond just practicing music came from the DAV, you know, friendships. Just you couldn't even believe, you know, how many friends and good times we've had down there, you know.
Right.
And it was the proximity was great, you know. It just really worked out well back then at the time. It was such a great environment.
Right. Now, Nathan was at the DAV too, and
Yes, yes, sir.
yeah, and Nick, I don't know if you know this. I actually auditioned for Crow now. I didn't know if you
Yeah, I
knew, but
think I think I kind of recall now. I kind of
uh,
recall.
and they
So
did a really
awesome.
smart thing. They didn't pick me. I wasn't right for it, you know, again, that said, you know, Nate, Nick was telling me the DAV just wasn't a rehearsal space; it was a community.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd agree. The whole sort of heartbeat of everything that was going on in the scene back then happened in that space for sure.
Right.
Yeah, it really
Okay.
did.
All right. Something something I remember, you know, I didn't go to the DAV very much, but one time I recall Fabian from Columbus is actually living there.
Mm.
Is there any truth to that?
From what I remember, there wasn't there it's probably more than a couple people that would occasionally spend either a long weekend or an extended stay at the
Exactly.
DMV. Yeah, I was actually one of them. There were times where uh, a relationship would end or whatever the case was, and I would kip out there for 2 or 3 days at a time.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't very it wasn't a very it was an inhospitable place to spend your spare time because uh I remember it just being dark and kind of dirty and smelling like really bad sour beer.
That was always the case. Yes.
Now, okay. Rogue had after show parties at the DAV. I remember Throat Culture buying a keg for one of them.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
probably even more than one or two.
mm, right.
Rogue had the epic parties. We had some additional fun with those and
Yeah.
added our own parties. So it was quite an experience. What's up, Dale?
What's up, dude? It's
That's
been
it.
a minute. Do I have any
Dale,
audio?
glad you made it. We're talking about the
Yep,
DAV.
we can hear you, man.
Nice.
Dale, you weren't at the DAV. Did you ever go there?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, there's legendary ass parties. You talking about where Rogue used to practice, like
Hmm.
when we first were kind of in the scene and all that? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, is anyone surprised with that place having the wiring it did, all the smoke, all the booze that ended up on the carpet? The place went on fire. Was
Yeah.
anyone shocked?
There was enough alcohol in the carpet alone to just, any little spark would have done a good
Exactly.
adequate job.
Because
Not surprised.
Yeah,
okay,
not
when
surprised.
you
Surprised
got the
it took
news,
so long, maybe.
Yeah.
okay, when you got the news, that place went up in smoke. What did you have any equipment in there?
I know I didn't.
I,
When did it actually burn down?
I think they got it put out. Like I think it was saved. But I don't remember
Oh,
they recall the year exactly.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, I don't recall the year, but no, I was long gone by then, I think.
Okay. All right. All right. We're gonna shift up. Nick and Dale did not make the Maris the Great that event. But Nick, we'll start with you. Your experiences with Maris the Great.
Oh yeah, we were one of the I remember I joined the band Throat Culture, and within maybe 6 months, possibly I could be wrong, but he was already killing us at
Hmm.
that time, and it was awesome because we had the magazine to help promote that early start of Maris as well.
Hmm.
So it was all kind of tied in. Quite a fun time being killed, and we did get killed at the DAV,
Right.
so in our practice space. So it was
I
quite cool.
remember that. Now, my thing is, Nick, you were part of the E list. And you remember when Maris first came out and he posted, doing that? He hadn't
Oh
grown
yeah,
into his
yeah.
costume yet. But do you remember when he posted his love shrine to Murray in his pursuit of drudgery?
Yeah, I do recall. I kind of recall this. Yes.
The drug sh or yeah, the love shrine. I remember that.
Uh,
Yeah.
Dale, you were a little young when that was before your time, wasn't it?
Oh no, I was around. Yeah, yeah. I remember like my first experience with Maris was is kind of fucking embarrassing actually because I had never seen him before, wasn't aware of him, and he posted some shit about killing someone and eating their dicks or whatever, the kind of things like he posted. And this is super embarrassing, but I got like fucking offended and freaked out. And I kind of responded. I was like, hey man, that's fucked up, dude. Like, you're an asshole. Like, this and that. And he never really like fucking gave me time of day for like years after that. So we never got killed, unfortunately, or anything like that. We're cool now, but it's like 20
Right,
years later.
right.
Well, and it was so funny because it's not like there was some announcement that there's going to be this gay undead guy that's going to be doing this stuff. He just appears, and it's like, if you're savvy, then you know. And so to your point, Dale, I was kind of the same way. I didn't know what the hell was going on, but I
Yeah,
was just such a huge like monster fan that I'm like,
yeah.
this is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. And so I went along for the ride, but my first reactions were not unlike yours. So like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, like every
Right.
time you'd see him, he'd be in character, and that was just so
Yeah,
trippy to me, at
yeah,
all times.
yeah. And then it's funny, I remember him being in this space where maybe he didn't have the armor or anything, and maybe he didn't have the full paint on, but he'd do some kind of other kind of paint, and he was quasi in character, where it's almost like
Yeah.
the voice wasn't quite there, all the way or whatever. And maybe it was just times where he was like, he couldn't be bothered,
Yeah.
maybe he was running out of time or something.
Can't imagine the amount of fucking work that goes into that. Like, I
And it
mean,
looks good.
hours
Yeah.
every time.
Um,
I'm sure.
yeah. Yeah. I wish I would have been, I wish I would have had the presence in mind to do something like that because after figuring out what the hell was going on, I was so in love with what he was doing because it was
Oh,
so it brought an awareness to the scene, and it also like pushed all of us forward. And Nick, same with Throw Culture magazine, it pushed everyone forward. And there was a reason why that scene had the levity it did, and it was because of the work that you guys did and the work that Maris did, and things where, otherwise it would have just been, well, we're going to go see so and so at such and such club, or we're going to, but you guys really pushed things to the forefront and made it possible for a lot of us bands to reach, have a further reach.
Yeah, yeah. The timing was just like really like phenomenal and everything.
Mhm.
Maris, the magazine is just, all the bands. It just really was like a great scene and time.
Yeah,
So great.
absolutely.
All right. Now
Yep.
here's the question I've always wanted to ask, never did. And Dale, I know you're gonna want to jump in on this shit.
Okay.
When Rod left throat culture and the evolution of throat cult, Nick, I never asked you about it because I was just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna leave that alone, and we're friends and all that. How did that evolution from throat culture to throat cult? How did that come about?
Good question. Good question.
Yeah. Just in the matter of like time, kind of like how things progressed with our kind of like our music, where we wanted to go with things. Rod started, and then we went through a couple few drummers. Various styles, kind of like exploring different, little bit more extremes. So we were kind of like it kind of just how it matched up with the drumming and stuff. Yeah, it was quite an evolution of throat culture to throat cult, the members, how it all progressed, and then the magazine too. Definitely, I don't even remember your question to me, but yeah, it was it was definitely a crazy time, man.
I
Dale, I know
remember
you
it.
got something on this.
What's
Say again.
that?
I know you have something to say about this.
Oh,
You said,
me?
yeah, you.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I was a so my introduction to throat culture was our I believe it was the first Bleeding Faith show we ever played at some place called Rock and Jock with fucking our good friends Cold Moon.
Yeah,
And
up
Oh
north.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
loved that.
Yeah, that
And
was a great place.
and Rod was there. Rod was one of about, I think, maybe seven people at the show. And he came up and gave me like one of the very first throat culture, like black and white, still only like 15 pages, the
Hmm.
abrasive music rag, it said.
Yeah.
And he gave me that, and I met Rod, and then eventually found out they had a band the same name,
Hmm.
and I saw them eventually not long after that, and I was fucking huge, like mega throat culture fan.
Yeah.
Like I fucking because they were like kind of industrial, kind of
Hmm.
death metal, kind of horror. And they had this weird, like paranoid, like quasi military fucking thing going
Yeah.
on. And I fucking love it. I can't even to this day think of a band to compare them to. What the fuck? Anacrusis a little bit, maybe, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Those early days
Mm.
were. Thanks for the great comments, man.
yeah, of
And
course.
the early days of the music were so exploratory. And I mean, yeah, it had even like some industrial kind of dark, kind of
Mhm.
gothy vibes to it. Yeah, really enjoyed that time period of throat culture with Brian Fisher on keys.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Absolutely enhanced a lot of what we were doing then.
There was almost like to the industrial point, there was almost like that kind of Fear Factory vibe with death metal and stuff. And it's funny, I was lucky. I got my first experiences with throat culture were very early. And so then when everything happened, and I'm glad you explained, Nick, what had happened going from throat culture to throat cult. I kept asking people, what's going on? And people just told me, just leave it alone. So
Yeah,
I never, because
I don't
I
know.
too was a big fan. I really loved. I was always jealous of like you guys and Nicaraguan Death Squad because you
Love
guys
those
just
guys.
had, I was always pushing Cronau to be heavier and heavier, and I was gonna be the cancer that turned them into the death metal band that I wanted to be
Well,
in.
you almost succeeded there,
I
Nate.
almost got there. I almost got there. I pushed them. So, but no, I did. I was lucky to enough to have some of that. And then when it changed, I thought it was one of those. What do they call it? Like one of those moments where you think you remember something, and it turned out not to be that way or whatever. And
Mandela effect.
yeah, Mandela. It was like a Mandela effect for me, where I'm like, "What happened to my band, or whatever?" And then they're like, "It's all the same people. It's just
Yeah,
this guy did the and stuff." So and
I
now
think
it
a lot
makes
of it
sense.
came from, yeah, like the magazine drifting into its own space. We didn't want to get
Exactly. Yeah, because I didn't know. I didn't know I thought maybe the magazine was Throw Cult and the band was
Right.
still Throw Culture,
Right.
but then nothing was, and so yeah, it was this big disconnect. But
Okay. All right, we're going to shift gears for a second. I'm going to say for the record, if anyone's kind of wondering where's Bill Terrell in all of this, him and I have had multiple conversations. John Bollock's going to be doing a one-on-one with him next month. His voice will be heard in this. So let's
Nice.
talk about him and the takeover of Whiskey Bills, which we all were in on. Now, Nick, if I'm not mistaken, you did the website, right?
Yeah, I helped with the website. I helped Bill with
Right.
flyering and the website, yes.
Right. Okay. What was in it for you?
Um, chill out, hanging out at that bar, man. Like Whiskey Bill's was such a massive part of that time as well. Because it was great seeing the bands over there, making almost like another kind of central small community through that bar. There a lot of cool bands came through there. Bill got a ton of great bands through there. Like he'd somehow get, bigger bands getting through there. It's just this little club. I remember even like boxing in the back of that place. Like there was some really good times, made so many good friends there.
Right.
Met my wife there. I mean,
Yeah.
oh
And
wow.
all right.
yeah.
All right. Now, Nick, you, Keith, and Murray and Woody Sebastian really enabled me. Doing comedy was the most insane thing I ever fucking did. And I
Love that. Love those
I would
days.
have no shot these days. None. I'd piss off everybody. We get it off there. But Nick, one of my fondest memories of you and me, and that's what I want to talk about. You made all of Depth Charges flyers. You were the best 20 bucks I ever spent every time. I remember doing one for a comedy show at Whiskey Bill's. There was a picture of Paris Hilton, and instead of nipples, there were pictures of my face.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Thanks
Love
for the
that.
memory. Love it. Love it.
And I just
That's top
recall, and
shelf.
Keith Spargo, by the way, elaborated on that. I eventually, I offended some biker woman so bad, she yelled at Blake, the sound guy, and not
Oh
me.
really? Oh,
Yeah, and walked out. That same night, Jorgensen from Ministry allegedly came by. I don't know. I was gone back then, but
was this
my
at Whiskey Bill's the time you
yeah,
performed there? Okay. Sick.
right.
Yeah.
Remember doing that, and one person actually paid to see me. One,
Still
and I was
awesome.
like, "Who is this person, and what the fuck is wrong with them?" You know, but you know, but it's that, another thing about Nick and I and Nathan and Dale, I don't know, you never went to Keith Spargo's Christmas parties, did you?
No,
Oh.
no,
You're
not.
in for some entertainment because Nick and I went to them all. We went to them
Excellent.
all, and I had rotten luck every fucking time. Every fucking time. One night I drank Murray Neal's Death Nog. I got sick. So I'm
Oh,
praying to the
dude.
porcelain throne while everyone's singing Deck the Halls, and I can hear Mark Grabowski's la 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 la. It's like,
Totally.
like, then there was one other incident. We all fondly remember Chad Armstrong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suicide Assembly silencer.
Yeah.
I remember this was '05, and I'm hanging out with Nick. We're all in the back. We're near in the kitchen area, and I see this blonde near the door, and I just put my hand on Nick's shoulder. Nick, I've had nothing but bad fucking luck at these parties since 1997. You are about to witness my comeuppance because you're about to meet the future Mrs. Ty. It's that blonde over there. Nick's like, Ty, that's Chad Armstrong's wife. I'm like, good.
Um,
I just storm out. To add insult to injury, Dan Lynn and his girlfriend, they were in the silencer touring van, and it was going up and down, up and down, up and down. You know, that you know that is one of the greatest memories I have with Nick. It's like he told me the truth, and luckily, nothing came of that, but that
Yeah.
was a memory. Do you have a
Hmm.
memory of those holiday parties there, Nick?
Oh yeah, yeah, plenty, plenty. Well, what I do remember, no man, those were killer parties. Amazing. Never forget those ever.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. All right. Now, how does everyone remember the end of Whiskey Bills? I know there was a demise and and Bill bowed out. Did anyone know anything?
The only thing I remember is, well, I don't remember the exact ending of it, like when they tore it down. But I mean,
Mhm.
I kind of recall the years, but I think I was out of the band at that time.
Right. Well, the reason I bring this up is I remember, it's like I heard a rumor. It's like, okay, Bill Terrell's out at Whiskey Bill's, is going there, and Warren, their bartender, he looked like Goldberg, and he gives me a call. He's just kind of like, hey, Ty, Jen and I are gonna, we're getting married, and we're gonna, you know, we want to have a couple of bands we like, but Depth Charge like to play. I was flattered. That was one of the most flattering moments I ever got. I'm like, where's Bill in all this? Oh, he's no longer with us.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I think I had kind of the same unceremoniously like finding out that first Bill wasn't involved, and then I think I had already moved, and I wasn't in the band. I wasn't in Cronow anymore. I know that. I think I had went to Born in Winter after that, and then I remember cruising down the street with one of my buddies, and he's like, "That's where Whiskey Bill's used to be." And I went, "What do you mean used to be?" Like I was visiting Colorado from Arizona, and I was like, "What? It's gone? Like the building's gone." It was just totally, yeah, very unceremoniously found out about both of those events. So,
right.
Yeah, it's like one of
Okay.
those things, like one day it was there, one day it was like
and one day
gone.
it's not. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
But that's the thing. That's the funny thing. And that's why I really like what Ty's doing here because even though it meant nothing to anyone else, these places, these people, these events, this time, this music, the struggle, the sour beer smell in the DMV, it all meant something to us, you know?
it did. All
Absolutely.
right. Scott Dankel got torqued off at me, Nick, last time at the last grouping. I asked everyone's dream band lineup, and you kind of opted out. He's like, "You let Nick get out of this, get out of that question." Not now, now, Nick. Your dream lineup in the Denver circuit. Who would be in
Oh,
your band with
geez.
you on guitar?
Let's see here. Yeah, I forgot about that question. Oh, you got to put me on the spot again.
Yes, I
Uh,
am.
Everybody that I've played with, I mean, everybody in the scene, I mean, is just so talented and has their own kind of vibe. Everybody's got their own styling. I mean, I can't put anybody into a category. I'd love to jam with everybody, in a certain way, you know. Just, I can't pinpoint at the moment, but we just have such a pool of talented people here and
Mm.
creative, just can't name names, but man, yeah,
Okay. All right.
too many,
Let me put you like this. Nick Student from Corruption, would he be your drummer?
he could be in a version. Yeah, he is
Yeah.
absolutely sick. He's
I,
and what I would love to jam. Yeah, anybody you'd probably mention, I want to jam with and
all right.
see kind of what vibe
All right.
they could produce, we could produce. But yeah,
Yeah, that's like I said, when Nick died about a year and a half ago, that was the catalyst for this archive coming about because he's the greatest drummer I ever saw. And it's not just about the size of his kit, it was
Yeah.
his skill level. It's
Yeah,
right
he
up
was
there
the
with.
best drummer I ever played with.
Mm.
He was the best drummer I ever played with.
And I felt this man's in danger of being in obscurity, and that's just wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like something has to be done. That's why we're all here today.
Yeah.
And
nice.
Dale, you're on the spot. You on guitar. Who else is? Who's in your dream band?
Ooh, okay. All right. I've actually thought about this one a lot over the years. So on drums, I'm gonna put you know that guy Yuli from Sickbox?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
He
You
was
guys
good.
remember that motherfucker? He was sick, dude. I always wanted to be in a band with him. Um, on the guitars, I'm gonna put Nick as one of my guitarists, and
Thank
then
you.
Ty Fury, the other
Okay.
guitarist.
All right.
And for the singer, I'm gonna put Wasey from Anchor and Terror Universal.
Okay.
And then the bass player, I guess I'll put fucking Dave, Dave
Nice.
from Bleeding Faith.
Oh,
That'd
Uh-huh.
be, that'd be a sick fucking band. And put
mhm.
Brian Fisher in there too, just for some fucking.
Sick.
All right.
Yeah.
Nathan, it's your turn.
Well, it's kind of funny. We actually had the dream situation. I think we talked about it once before. It was
Was
James
Nick
Brennan
aware of
and I
this?
from Cronow, and then Mark Grabowski was and also a co-lead singer and bass player. Nick Student on drums, myself, and Sean from Corruption, and we actually did that band for a short time,
Oh,
and
nice.
I learned so much, man. It was amazing. Like all those guys were just amazing musicians and stuff. So that would have been the dream lineup. We made it happen, but we just couldn't keep it together. So
Hmm.
Oh man.
And
yeah.
that was something I think you guys would have drawn insanely well. That
The
would have been
stuff
an
we were
insane
writing
draw.
and the stuff we were doing was unlike anything, and they were really excited about it as well, and for whatever reason it just kind of disintegrated, and we never progressed, but it was a band called Big Dumb God.
Hmm.
Oh yeah,
Mark Grabowski came up with the name. I thought it was brilliant,
I do
so
recall that.
yeah.
Do you guys
Okay.
remember a band called Los, Los?
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, the that guitarist JR,
Yeah.
I owe it to him, like to for me being in the scene. I mean, he gave me a guitar
Wow.
and a amp at the time,
Mhm.
which was super cool because I didn't have anything, and I just moved to the area. And obviously, he's quite successful. But yeah,
Mhm.
I definitely owe a lot to him.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's the question I've asked everybody at a podcast, and it's going to be a very prominent thing for the book. As you are aware, I am trying to have this in a time capsule to be opened by a music organization in the year 2100. In your observation, what will the status of live music be in the year 2100, and what role will AI have in it? Nathan, we'll start with you.
I don't think AI will have a role in any sort of music in the future. I think that AI is going to end up being the the um the year 2000 version of the forthcoming of new music technology. I think it's going to be huge now when it hits and when it does what it does. But ultimately, I do not think the human condition is going to change. And I think that musicians will come full circle and begin to sell music again, and live performances by human beings will be at the forefront of the technology starts and ends with us.
Okay. All right. Nick, you're in a position to know about AI and all that jazz. How about you?
Yeah, so I completely really like that. Like I like those thoughts, and in my opinion, I don't think AI is going away.
Yeah, yeah.
There will be a time to, there will be a space for it, but it's going to be a little bit more interesting. Everything should be like known that it's AI, in a music space. There will be people catering to that idea and like just, piecing together their ultimate sounds. I mean, you can
Mhm.
pretty much kind of make a playlist now. However, um, what you were saying is like you can't kind of kill that music in humanity. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
we'll still produce music as we want and as we do, but Will there be AI music? Absolutely. Will there
Hmm.
be AI tools? There already is. I mean, it's already
Yeah.
it's literally happening now. So, it's a tricky space, but I do agree that it'll come back to just human-centered, organic music creation.
Maybe that's us just being romantic, and you never know, like
You never know. You never
maybe
know.
it's our utopian thoughts of how we would like it to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Dale, how about you?
It's a tool, and it's just I think it's like file sharing back in the day where it's like that fucking horse is out of the barn, you can't put it back in. But the difference between people making music just by entering some prompts or something, and people using it appropriately as a tool to, maybe help them mix things or stylize things a little bit. I think that's a huge chasm between those two things.
Right.
And I think I think it could be a really fucking cool thing when it's used the right way. But and people know when someone's making bullshit, and when people are making real art that's personal.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, mm, I got two more. I got two more things. Um, if we got to play the Gothic, the Ogden, and the Bluebird, which nowadays Live Nation wouldn't touch local bands, won't touch local bands, but we got that opportunity, you know, to do so. Out of those three, which one was your favorite? Nick?
I'm gonna say Gothic. I like the
Mhm.
vibe of all of those. However, just because like the Bluebird has its own kind of feeling and it's kind of a little
Mhm.
smaller, packed in. It's kind of like where we played a lot of the earlier shows. I really enjoy the Bluebird. The Ogden is great because it's a bigger and it kind of has more of that kind of like grittier kind of vibe, and like we played bigger shows there. But the Gothic has like the best sound and the best stage in my opinion,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and the
All right.
coolest like backstage.
Okay. Nate, how about you?
I would agree with Nick. I loved playing the Ogden, and we were fortunate enough to pull some people into the place, the Ogden and the Bluebird, and run on down to Chipotle and grab something to eat and everything. But I would say the Gothic was my favorite because, for one reason, I had a very personal reason for wanting to play the Gothic, and it was because a lot of my constituents and people that and contemporaries told me, "Man, you'll never play at the Bluebird Theater. You're not a good guitar player. You'll never be in a great band that plays the Bluebird Theater, and you'll never do it with that crappy guitar." And the first time I ever played the Bluebird Theater, we were on tour and we found out we were going to be home. And I said to James, "What's next? What are we doing next?" "We're home for a few days and we're playing the Gothic Theater." I had to
Hmm.
run to my father's house and grab that crappy, horrible guitar that people told me I would never play the blue or the Gothic Theater with, and slap some strings on it. And that was the very first guitar. That was the first time I played the Bluebird Theater, and I played it with the guitar that people said I'd never play the Bluebird Theater at. So
Right.
yeah.
All
Sick.
right. All right, Dale, hit me. Dale, did you freeze?
Oh, looks like he's frozen.
I think he's frozen. I think Dale froze.
Both
Oh,
oh,
there he is.
are we back?
We're back.
You're
We're back.
back.
Okay,
You're
sorry
back.
about that.
All
Internet's
right.
a little fucked up right now.
Um,
Um, but so we had some really cool experiences playing with Bleeding Faith at both Bluebird, and one time with Rogue at the Ogden for a video release show. And we had some fucked up shows over the years where we got drunk or we were fucked up on drugs and we shit the bed. But we were lucky enough to never have that experience at like the bigger shows.
Hmm.
And those shows we fucking balled out. But like I never got to play the Gothic. But one of the coolest experiences of a show I ever had was at the Gothic when my old bass player Dave and I, we were like 15, 16 years old, and we went to see Merciful Fate there.
Yeah.
And we bull rushed to the front row and we fucking held on for dear life
Yep.
and we stayed there the whole show. And after the show, King Diamond fucking jumped off the stage and walked down that area between the barricade and the
Yeah.
front row. And I was holding out my ticket stub, and he fucking wipes makeup off his face and smeared it on my ticket stub.
Bitchin'.
And I was like, I mean, that's such a magical fucking moment
Oh
for
yeah,
me
dude.
in like my metalhead life, you know?
It'd
Mhm.
be for anybody, I think, who's a metalhead. Definitely.
Yeah, that was surreal as fuck.
Yeah, I went to a handful of like Guar shows, and I went to Slayer New Year's Eve, and a couple other shows that they had there, and was
Yeah.
just always fascinated with that place. So
Such a cool venue.
it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, final topic. Um, I think the friendships that were made in this circuit, I think were just some of the most, things I treasure the most. And I would say this, Nick, the relationships, the closest relationships you developed were with who?
You mean just in the scene?
Yeah,
Oh
just in
my
the
God,
scene.
my bandmates. I mean, I'll never, so many friendships have been made
Mm-hmm.
throughout all these throughout that time, you know. I mean, I still see people the same people at shows,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm going out and I'm people, some of the younger bands right now are, saying they've been inspired, by us and at the time. So I forgot your question again, but it's all that weed. But
Okay. It was just kind of like, bandmates,
oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
definitely
I
interesting,
mean,
but like non-bandmates, amongst my non-bandmates, Nick, you're in my top five. I would say Keith
absolutely,
Scargo,
brother.
Murray Neal, you, Rod Brown,
Absolutely.
and Johnny Bollock, you know, amongst non-bandmates. Dale, you and I became better friends in the film circuit.
Yeah. Yep.
You you and I were pretty acquainted. We did a show at X together. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
But when you and I saw each other at the Rogue reunion in 14, that's where you and I kind of really got started.
Hmm.
And said, and but your top relationships that weren't in Bleeding Faith that you think fondly on the most. And I think Dale froze again.
No,
Oh,
there he is.
am I back? Sorry.
You're
I
back.
got this fucked up Simi Valley internet, man.
Right.
Here, God, man, it's weird. I maintained loose contact with a lot of people. But someone who became one of my best friends during that time, who I stayed in touch with a lot was Wasey from Anchor and Terra Universal. We collaborated on a lot of random shit post like the scene. We worked on films together and music videos and shit like that. But John Bullock, Ty, Nick, fucking even Nathan. Like this whole thing is just so much fucking cooler, even than I thought it would be. It's fucking really good to see you guys. Like, I was kind of
Yeah.
nervous to do it, but it's fucking pretty rad, actually.
Hmm.
All right, Nate, wrap us up.
Obviously, Bill Terrell. I met Bill very early on, and had a great, working relationship with him. And there were times that we'd be sitting at the bar together or sitting backstage. And we would shoot the breeze. And always a really stand-up guy. Johnny Bollock, also somebody that I connected a lot with back then as well. I really wish that I could have gotten closer to Maris, but every time I was in the room with Maris, I was either playing and I was a subject of his, you know, being Maris
Oh.
that I never got the chance to really. I would get peeks into, actual Maris and stuff, but But really, to Dale's point, again, being able to see everybody's faces and kind of make those connections. I didn't know the Throat Culture magazine and how all that was related and stuff. And so that was always a big question in the back of my head because I really enjoyed what you guys did, and I was always a big fan. I always wanted to be heavier and stuff, and I wish that I could have made more friends, but I think there was an air of there was a lot of this, and
Mhm.
which really stunk because you fast forward later and you're 50 years old and you're like, man, I wish I could have had 15 minutes just out of that scene with that guy for just 15 minutes to say I really admire the way you play or
Mhm.
the way you sing or whatever, and I just never had the chance. But there's a few. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those
Hey,
guys for sure.
mm, has everyone heard about the condition of Chris Dillinger from Blister 66?
The only thing that I've heard, no, I would say
No,
no,
he
that
got he
there's,
got diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer this weekend.
yeah,
It's
that's
been a
that's
bunch.
all I've heard. I haven't heard any other updates or anything.
Okay. Well, it said they have a GoFundMe.
Hmm.
Just look it up, do that. Chris Dillinger, while I wasn't the hugest fan of the new metal genre, that dude walked the walk.
Yeah,
He
yeah, he
worked
did a
his
lot.
ass off. So
Yeah, and
Hmm.
I just want to
I think
conclude.
a lot of it.
I'm going to conclude the recruiting. Hey, anyone watching this? There is a GoFundMe for Chris Dillinger. Look it up. We'll put links up on it. But dude, he walked the walk, and let's the community and all of us let's do what we can to help him and his wife Lola and his family.